Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Alta Live. My name is Beth Spotswood. I am your host for today's Alta Live. Today, we are going to be in celebration and on theme with Alta's Seven Wonders of California. We are going to be talking about the food wonders of California. Yes, food is included in this issue, absolutely. But of the handful of items that are included, California is a food mecca for so many. And we thought, why not have a really fun discussion about it? We've got a guest from North Bay or Northern California, where I am, as well as Southern California. And I'm going to introduce them to you right now. Tamara Palmer is an author, a ghostwriter, and a DJ from San Francisco. She publishes California Eating, a newsletter, website, and a small batch print zine. You can follow her. You can follow Tamara and Brock on social media, and I encourage you to do so. They're great. Tamara writes for a bunch of publications, including in our current issue, in Alta's current issue right now. Brock Keeling writes food and restaurant in the restaurant industry for the Orange County Register. He is down in Southern California. He has covered design, LGBTQ plus issues, and urbanism for various publications. His work has been featured in Eater, The Chronicle, Curbed, Alta, New York Magazine, and many more. He has held editorial roles at Curbed and 7 by 7. And I assume both of you are award-winning writers and talented. They are also friends of mine. So we're going to have a really fun conversation today with them. Before we dive in, I want to remind everyone this conversation will be recorded and posted to Alta Online later this afternoon. We're also going to send you links to the current issue, anything that comes up that we think you might find interesting. If there's a super hot restaurant that you've absolutely got to visit, my colleague Liz is taking copious notes as Tamara, Brock, and I chat today about the food wonders of California. I love seeing where everyone is zooming in. Please let us know. I see Jersey Shore, Ukiah, California, Texas, Ramona, California, Pasadena. This is New York City. This is so great to see you all here. Thank you for joining us. Tamara, you're in the city. You're in San Francisco.
Yes.
Thanks.
And I kind of consider myself a dual citizen of Los Angeles and San Francisco, but I'm in San Francisco today.
Oh, well, that's a whole other Alta Live that we're going to do, NorCal versus Southern California one day. And Brock, you are in Southern California. Where are you?
I'm located in Dana Point, which is Orange County's South County.
I should point out this conversation was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago. We postponed it due to the fires. So thanks so much for everyone who came back. We had a number of Alta Contribs, staff members, so many of our readers and friends and family in LA who were affected by this. Brock, I know you're in Orange County. You're doing okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm doing fine. Grateful that I'm doing fine, but the fires were horrific. They are horrific. And yeah, so I'm glad we got to postpone it and come back.
Great. All right. Well, let's talk about food. I want to dive in and have each of you talk about one kind of the Alta Wonder from the magazine. And then what we're going to do is go back and forth kind of in a rapid fire and have Tamara and Brock pick each of their food wonders of California. They don't necessarily need to be food. They can be food icons, components of food, any sort of aspect of the California food culture. First, though, why don't I start with you, Tamara, because you wrote about cioppino as one of our mini wonders in this issue. First of all, for those that don't know, it's a very San Francisco food. What is cioppino?
So cioppino, as I understand it from growing up with it, does not have one standard recipe, although you will generally find a mix of fresh seafood in a tomato and white wine base. And I came to find when writing about it for Alta that there's been a mythology that was debunked over the last couple of years. And so what we know now, thanks to research, particularly from KQED, we know that cioppino is most likely derived from a Northern Italian soup called cioppine. The mythology that circulated for years is that it was kind of a shorthand for chipping in, where the Italian fishermen and Fisherman's Wharf and North Beach would chip in what they had not sold for the day to make a communal stew. But that's kind of been thought now to be lore, but it's something that's been here since the late 1800s. And also for Alta, I discovered that probably the best one going right now is at Soto Mare in North Beach. And our Dungeness crab season was delayed this year, and we're right in it now. So this is actually the perfect time to go try it.
Rick points out that Trenta and Costa Mesa makes a terrific version of cioppino. Brock, have you ever heard of Trenta? Is Costa Mesa near you?
It is near me. Yes, I've heard of it, but I have not had the cioppino there.
All right, so Brock, we're going to move on to you of one of the wonders of California. This made one of our 7 main wonders. Um, and this was written by Gustavo Arellano, a friend of ours, a very regular Alta contributor, who points out that the fast food burger is a California staple. This was a huge surprise to me. Brock, I've driven through many a fast food drive-through with you. Tell us about the California fast food burger.
The California fast food burger is delicious despite its ingredients and blowback. Well, okay, so the first fast food restaurant we can't lay claim to, that was in Wichita. I think it was a White Castle, we don't have them here. But down here we have a lot of burgers, a lot of fast food restaurants that originated in Southern California. We have In-N-Out, which started in Baldwin Park, McDonald's in Downey, Carl's Jr. in Anaheim. I'm reading Taco Bell in Downey, and then I think an A&W might have been created here. I've never been to
Yeah.
an A&W, but I know there's one in Lodi. The burger itself, from what I understand, the Right Spot in Pasadena, this is in the 1920s, created the first cheeseburger, allegedly. It's all allegedly. The owner's son apparently slapped on some American cheese, which is delicious, and how I think all cheeseburgers should be prepared. Slapped it on, it was grilled, and it proved successful. Yeah, so that's where the cheeseburger came from. Those are some great places. As someone who lived in San Francisco for 25 years, I would never have dreamed of getting McDonald's and carrying it on BART. Can you imagine? Like that would be the righteous indignation coming from my fellow passengers. But down here, now that I drive, which is a new thing for me, I love nothing more. I hate to admit this, getting my fast food in my car, parking it in some, warehouse parking lot, and just eating. It's very dystopic, very isolating, but it's a beautiful experience. And it's something that's semi-new to me. When I was a kid, I had a lot of fast food. But that being said, Southern California, LA specifically, or in particular, has a very strong vehicular culture. And yeah, fast food really, really flourished here when it came about.
All right, what do you think the best fast food cheeseburger is?
My favorite cheeseburger it's Carl Jr.'s Western bacon cheeseburger without the bacon, because the bacon's rubbery. I don't like it. I don't eat bacon anyway. That's my favorite. Real quick, Lucas Quan Peterson, he's a writer. He was at the LA Times. He wrote this amazing he ranked all of the I hope I'm saying this correctly, the fast food burgers. And it's fun. And he also chose the double Western bacon cheeseburger. So yeah, that's mine.
Carl's Jr. All right. All right. So let's dive into your food wonders of California. Tamara, you're going first. First choice.
Okay, my first choice is See's Candies, which dates back to 1921. It's founded in Los Angeles and headquartered in South San Francisco since 1936. So I really think of it as a true, full California wonder, and not, just the Bay Area or LA. The factory in South San Francisco isn't open to the public, but I've managed to sweet talk my way in there a few times. And it's very reassuring to notice that amongst the production lines and the robots that are producing some confections, that there are still a number of candies in their collection that are being made by hand. You see people like stirring copper cauldrons and hand wrapping caramels. So if you're ever near South San Francisco, right by SFO, stop in at that C's store. You're going to get the freshest ones in the state.
I've got to ask, and I want our audience to chime in on this too. And there is an obvious answer. What is the best See's candy item? Brock, why don't you go first?
Yeah, the correct answer is the peanut butter patties.
That is incorrect. Tamara?
Correct answer is the molasses chip.
Mm.
And but subsequent to my factory visits, I've learned that the freshest thing you can get is a Scotch Kiss, which is a
Oh,
marshmallow wrapped in a caramel.
that's delicious.
And there's also this, maybe it's quite limited, but it's called the Tipperary bonbon, and it's this like pecan filled, uh, maple candy coated and pecan topped square. So if you're ever in a C store, ask if they have the Tipperary. I mean, you never really, it doesn't appear in assortment, so you wouldn't see it from, a box that your grandmother gave to you
You
on your
got to be in there.
birthday.
Okay, you're all wrong. We've got 2 votes in the chat for nuts and chews. 1 California brittle, my mom's favorite. Butterscotch suckers, absolutely not. It is Bordeaux, folks. Bordeaux.
The classic.
That is the best. We actually recently just got a question submitted for Ask a Californian, which is an advice column we have, about is it rude to take all the Bordeaux's from a box of See's candy? Because it's obviously the best. All right, moving on. Bordeaux was my second. Thank you. Dagmar picked marzipan, which is just a crime. Okay,
Oh, I love
Brock, you love
thumbs
marzipan.
up to
What is your
marzipan.
second food
Another
wonder?
one, a rapid fire one. I'm gonna Doritos. They were invented at Casa de Fritos, which was a restaurant at Disneyland. The salesman allegedly, this is all allegedly, of course, because a lot of people lay claim to different things, but someone at Disneyland noticed that the restaurant was tossing out their old tortillas, and they fried them up, plowed them with cheese seasoning or whatever they used at the time, and that was then. And today they're very popular.
So Doritos were invented at Disneyland, is what you're trying to tell us.
Yes, Disneyland.
I let me just see if our fact checker is in this Zoom because we're gonna get an answer for you. Okay, Tamara, what is your second item on your food wonder of California?
My second item is the It's It, which was invented in San Francisco in 1928. George Whitney used to sell these chocolate coated oatmeal cookie ice cream sandwiches at a amusement park just down, maybe about a mile down from where I am, right at the ocean beach. There was an amusement park called Playland at the beach. Not closed, I think, before I was born. And the company's been headquartered in Burlingame since 1976. That's another one that's really close to SFO, where you could just drive over to the parking lot and go into the HQ's retail store, and you can get items that you don't see, flavors you don't see everywhere, and some of their lesser known ice cream sandwiches.
Oh yeah, and they'll do like seasonal, like a pumpkin ice cream. I see a vote in the chat. Folks, you can chat to everyone. Make sure you're clicking everyone if you want everyone to see it. There's a vote for mint ice cream. It's It, which is also my favorite. Brock, what's your favorite It's
Mint.
It flavor?
Mint.
Mint. Yeah, mint is the delicious. Okay, Brock, next on your list.
I'm going with agriculture. California agriculture is incomparable. We grow nearly 3/4 of the country's fruits and nuts. Around roughly, what I read, roughly 1.8 billion pounds of strawberries are grown here in the Golden State. We also make garlic. We grow garlic, avocados, vegetables, almonds, pistachios, dairy, wine grapes. Yeah, so we're a huge ag culture, especially our community, the farm workers who are often exploited, don't get their due. So I wanted to put that up there.
Nice. Very nice. All right, Tamara.
I love that. So I can follow that with farmers markets. The first permanent farmers market in California was which still exists, is the original farmers market in Los Angeles, which was founded in 1934. And then as for the first weekly farmers market that also still exists, is the Alamany Farmers Market up here in San Francisco, which is still by far and away one of the best, just for fresh produce, and you really get a sense of what grows here and the possibilities of just, being somebody who enjoys cooking in California and who enjoys eating healthy. So farmers markets for sure.
I mean, yeah, that really is a food wonder of California is really just our access to like the freshest of fresh farm to table, with what is that? What is that? The like eating local. It's like there are restaurants where like everything was grown within 100 miles of where you're sitting right now. It's a very California thing, it seems like.
Definitely.
Um, People are still talking about See's candy in the chat. All right, Brock, what's next on your list?
The next one is the Shirley Temple. Why the Shirley Temple? The Shirley Temple is a non-alcoholic drink. I can't say it was the first mocktail, but it was created in California, invented in the 1930s for the child star for which it's named after. The exact origins are debated, but several restaurants do lay claim to the drink, which is 7-Up, cherry syrup, grenadine, uh,
Grenadine.
grenadine, and a little maraschino on top. Like the brown derby in LA lays claim to it. Someplace in Hawaii does. But the Shirley Temple, in addition to the Virgin Bloody Mary, which came out around the time of the Bloody Mary, not created in California, both gave rise to the mocktail, which is now very, very popular, non-alcoholic beverages. So yeah, I had to mention the Shirley Temple.
You just did we should also shout out that you just did a roundup of the best mocktails in Orange County for the Orange County Register. You did a mocktail article. All right. Next on your list, Ms. Palmer.
Porto's Bakery.
What's that?
It's a Cuban bakery with 6 locations in Southern California. Um, first, their first was opened in 1976 in Echo Park, but that was just like a small kind of like a roadside bakery. But now it's if you're ever flying in or out of the Burbank airport, look for these tall yellow bags that are full of boxes of pastries, and it's just a dreamland for pastries and also savory foods, tamales and Cuban sandwiches and so forth. And the price point is unreal, especially nowadays. Like um, something that might be $50 at a bakery in San Francisco will be 20 at Porto's, and probably superior quality. They've in the pandemic they launched a bake at home service. So Google Porto's Bake at Home, and you can get a lot of their signature. The main signature is the cheese rolls, which now have been knocked off by Trader Joe's, and you can find like an approximation at Trader Joe's. But I think those have come to be quite iconic food for people who grew up in Southern California or people who are traveling through. There's one in Burbank, right by the Burbank airport.
I like that so far your list has consisted of lots of places in close proximity to airports.
You know.
We've got it's it, Portos. Okay, guava and cheese. Is that a pastry?
Oh yes, yeah. That's
Oh,
that's a must-have in there as well. Yeah.
got it.
Still,
Okay.
still a family-owned business as well, and Cuban, American, Californian collaboration. That if you don't know, please look into it. Also, I think one by Disneyland, right?
Yes, I believe so. Someone can fact check me on that.
All right, Brock, on your list.
The next one I chose was YouTube, which got its start here in Northern California. Why I picked it was because there are chefs who are on YouTube who are chefs in their own right just by being on YouTube. Everything from, Brooklynites like binging with Babish and Allison Roman to, sort of shock food like mukbangs, or those insane bad recipes, which I'm sure some of you see that are intentionally bad. That's more on TikTok, which is not owned by anyone in California, as our Attorney General would love to tell you about. But YouTube in particular has just given so many chefs who aren't on the Food Network, who don't have a voice. Not only have they been able to go on and become stars in their own right, but they've become teachers to people. And I look forward to the day when I can write a profile on a chef who whose prowess was, gleaned from YouTube videos, from watching stuff online. I think it's been a remarkable thing for cooking in general. And there's even YouTube series that are very meta, like Future Canoe. He talks about, well, his show, which is very funny, on YouTube. It's in reference to other food, more popular. Well, he's very popular, but popular food series. Very funny. So yeah, I had to give it to YouTube because my
Okay.
algorithm on YouTube is mainly just like cats, perfume, and chefs and bakers. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, to that point, there is such a social media component, which is social media is such a California thing, to food and eating and taking pictures of our food and learning about food and getting to know chefs. And before we went live, we were actually talking about, influencers and stuff fighting with chefs and that the social media world outside of more traditional journalism, which both of you work in, um, has a really big and interesting impact on our food culture. Okay, Tamara, what's next on your list?
It's like picking out favorite children. It's hard. But I'm going to go ahead and say that my next food vendor is garlic noodles, and specifically as invented by Diana On and her family, who uh, bought an old deli. Out, again, right? I don't know why I'm picking things that are all out by me for the moment, but I just think they're so legendary. They bought an old deli out here at Ocean Beach, turned it into a Vietnamese restaurant, and garlic noodles and roasted Dungeness crab. They took a specialty from the local and they took something from their heritage and created a California, like a whole category. There's just garlic noodle hibachi trucks and things like that. It's become a um, super staple, almost on the level of spaghetti, I dare say, in California. So yeah,
Wow,
voting for garlic noodles.
garlic noodles. That actually sounds delicious right now. We're all going to go after this episode. Everyone's going to go eat. I promise you. Everyone will. Let us know in the chat what you're planning on eating after this. All right, Brock, what's next on your list? I've lost count on what number we are, so just tell me when you're done because then we go into what foods you
Okay.
hate.
The
That
next
was
one,
five. Sorry.
Okay.
no worries, ranch dressing. It
That
was
is not from California.
ranch dressing. Yes, it was invented. Well, it was Hidden Valley Ranch. What I understand, was a real place in the Santa Barbara Mountains in the 50s. Let me go my notes. Steve Henson came up with the buttermilk dressing, which later spread via word of mouth. And then,
People are backing you up in the chat.
yeah. And from later, what I understand, he sold the rights to it for an estimated 8 million. So like rights to the delicious dressing, mayo-based dressing. And yeah, today ranch dressing is one of the most popular dressings in the nation. It's great on pizza. The bottled
So
ranch,
you like ranch dressing is what you're saying.
Delta worked is a very good. She did a taste test of all the ranch dressings, and she attested. If you haven't seen it, go watch Delta work. Um, the Hidden Valley Ranch in a bottle is terrible, but the ones you can make yourself, very good. That was my point. I'm done.
All right, we have Mary Ladd, who is also a local writer, and an Alta contributor says ranch was created by a plumber, Steve Henson and his wife Gail in 1954. They purchased a ranch right above Santa Barbara and named it Hidden Valley Ranch. They opened a steakhouse there and became popular for its salad dressing. I stand corrected. Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing is from California. I would never have guessed. Okay, up next, Tamara, hit us.
Amazing. Well, I have to say, green goddess dressing is another wonder
Hey,
of California. So that's maybe more dressing than we wanted in this
Yeah,
lineup.
no, I love it.
Apparently invented 1923 at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, um, in honor of a visiting playwright and actor named George Arliss, who uh, had produced a play called The Green Goddess. So um, typically it's made with mayo, sour cream, chives, anchovies, chervil, tarragon, lemon juice, and pepper. But talking about Trader Joe's again, I've seen the Trader Joe'sification of Green Goddess. You can get it in a sprinkle in the spice aisle. So the flavor profile is something that's contemporary. I see it on a lot of like, trendy menus, Green
Yeah.
Goddess wings and, things like that. Green Goddess on pizza and so forth.
Okay. Brock,
Someone said Trader Joe's in the comments. That's a good one. I did not note that, but I'm noting it right now.
Trader Joe's. Oh, Elliot, let's give Elliot a shout out. Trader Joe's,
Oh,
another SoCal creation.
and I got a
Love
text message from a friend saying, mention caviar. The bulk of
caviar.
caviar in the, what is that?
Caviar's from California.
Sacramento produces 90% of domestic caviar.
Really?
Until just now, yeah. But
Okay.
the one I was going to mention were taco trucks. And I know Gustavo already wrote, I think he's going to talk about it or has already
Yes.
talked about it. But um, as featured in Alta Journal in December, Raul O. Martinez, a Mexican immigrant, parked his one-time ice cream truck outside a bar in East LA and started selling Al Pastor tacos. And that gave rise to taco trucks, which are still very, very widely popular.
Can I ask a question? And I did not prep either one of you for this, but was the taco truck the first food truck? Now there's every kind of food truck. There's donut trucks, there's, soft serve trucks. Was the taco truck um the first kind of mobile lunch spots? Was the
Possibly,
taco
see what the comments have to say. Tamara, do you know?
No, I would just, semi-educated guess I would say yes.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be.
I have no idea on that one. Okay, do we have one more, Tamara?
We do. Oh gosh, narrowing it down. How about the California roll?
Yeah.
Apparently there's some controversy, not controversy, but no consensus on who invented it. There's a chef in Vancouver, Canada, who says that he created a crab and avocado roll and abbreviated it CA. But here in California, most of us give credit to Ichiro Mashita, who had a restaurant in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles in the 60s for creating it. And it certainly became the uh, gateway bite for sushi for Americans across the country, I would say. And, and there's even, California rolls are popular in Japan as well now as just
Really?
a nod to the cross-cultural creation.
Lovely. I want to just give the experts in the chat are telling us taco trucks did not come first. Catering trucks were first. According to Ed, it's Helm's Bakery truck was the first he recalls driving around to
And I
LA.
was about to just say that because I went to the brand new iteration of the Helms Bakery in Culver City a couple of weeks ago. So as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, wait, the bread trucks, or wait, the milk trucks. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the milk truck.
Easy
All
for
right.
saying that,
Truck.
But taco trucks are certainly a wonder and deserve to be.
Yeah.
All right, Brock, what's last on your list?
Okay, I had two. One was fish tacos, which originated in Baja California. But I put, and this is, I'm not sure of this, but I put avocado toast because A, they're often synonymous with California. B, my college friend Lauren in 1996 at UC Santa Cruz, she would make it for me at her home in Calistoga. And I was like bowled over. What is this? What I didn't know we could do this with avocados. Um, was it invented here? According to me. According to
Yeah,
me. But who
according to you, you're
knows?
a very well-regarded award-winning food writer. So,
Who's known
yes,
to be wrong. But yes, thank you.
known to be wrong. Okay, so now I want to get into, we've only got a few minutes left. Oh, we've got a shout out from Ted, my Uncle Ted, the martini invented in either San Francisco or Martinez, depending upon who you add. Um, okay, so folks, I want to ask, there's so many, we talk about California food, avocados have come up several times. What is a California culinary cliche that you are sick of?
When I go
Tamara,
to
take it away.
Oh, starting with me. Well, it's funny because I the first thing that came to mind was avocado toast. And to be honest, I love avocados and I love toast. And I'm not mad at avocado toast, but I don't understand the culture of uh, the craving of avocado toast and all the $20 avocado toast topped with gold leaf and caviar and uni and I just that I don't it seems much ado about nothing. Avocado toast to me is like, oh, I only have an avocado and like a piece of bread in the house, so that's what I have to eat.
As opposed to, it's become kind of a over the top ridiculous, turning avocado toast into some
Talking point like, oh, millennials
trendy
and
brunch
younger can't
item.
will never own homes because they spend too much money on avocado toast. Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
a
Right.
cliche that's out there.
Avocado toast cliche. Rock, what is the California food cliche that drives you nuts?
California food cliche are smoothies. I hate that smoothies are used to connotate California, especially, specifically Los Angeles. It's often used to denigrate us by
What?
often by our East Coast media elite, who I love. And I would call it classist and ignorant if it weren't actually true. Like we really do have a lot. What kind of sprang to mind was Haley Baldwin has a skin glaze smoothie at Erewhon for like $50,000, which I would like to try 100%.
Haley Bieber now, this is
Excuse me,
Stephen
Haley
Baldwin's
Bieber.
daughter, who is married to Justin Bieber, has a $20 smoothie
Right.
named after her at Erewhon, which I have never been to, but have learned is a very over-the-top Southern California, incredibly expensive grocery chain. I've never been to an Erewhon. I've certainly heard all about the Erewhons, and I know about them just because they are a fave of celebrities. So the ridiculous health smoothie that promises to give you a new face and a new body and you're going to live forever is your California cliche. See, I think Jamba Juice of smoothies, but I guess
Celebrity smoothie culture, as exemplified by Erewhon, which I've heavily researched, and I've shot like stealth photo shoots of their $134 monogrammed shopping bag that they have for sale.
Is
Just
there
like,
one coming to San Francisco?
not as far as I know. It would probably
that
do
would
well
be.
here, but
Yeah, so Mary points out in the chat in the quote, the description of this smoothie for those that wish to get themselves to Southern California and to an Erewhon, if you can muster the confidence to walk in, indulge in the luscious Haley Bieber strawberry glaze skin smoothie made with creamy almond milk, organic strawberries, and avocado. It offers a delightful blend of textures and flavors. It's enhanced with collagen and sea moss for added benefits.
That sounds goddamn delicious. I would absolutely get
And it retails for 20
that.
and it's a drink. All right,
$3.
my last, as we are over time, folks, I just do want to ask one question because we've been chatting before we went live. We were chatting about this. Which, um, which kind of trendy California pop-up rest item cronut bakery has the most worth it long line? I know that Tamara, you were saying you're sick of these places with crazy long lines. When I see a line, I assume this must be the greatest food item ever. So whose line is worth it? What are you going to stand in line for in California?
in all of California, or maybe I can
Yeah.
give you one in each place, maybe. San Francisco, I'm going to say Bee Patisserie is worth a line, and you're never actually really going to have too obnoxious of a line. They have a couple of annual events that they do that are liney. They have a day called Queen Amman Day. Queen
Oh,
Amman is that wonderful pastry that's kind of twisted up, and it's like a croissant, but there's sugar and butter in between each layer. And once a year, she does an entire menu of Queen Amman. So people scramble to pre-order them or to wait in line for them. And that one I think is definitely worth it. She trained in Paris. I think and her business partner is from Paris and runs a baking institute in Northern California. So real deal, like French style patisserie, Bee Patisserie, San
Bee
Francisco.
patisserie.
Yeah.
All right. Brock, what would you wait in line for?
What are the nine for? Heritage Barbecue in San Juan Capistrano. Daniel and Brenda Castillo's Central Texas style barbecue place. I have routinely wait in line. Sometimes the line can be up to 2 hours. That shouldn't hold you back from going. It's phenomenal. And Daniel was just listed as a semifinalist for the James Beard Award, California, Best Chef, which is a big deal for Orange County because we haven't gotten nearly enough attention for some of our food down here. So that's mine.
That's a great one also because Daniel appeared on Alta Live,
Oh,
bringing it all
I
home,
tying it together.
tying it together. It all comes back to
Tying it
Alta
together.
Live, obviously.
Yeah, someone like Heritage in the comments.
Oh yeah, I'm meaning to get to Heritage. Go to Heritage. Thanks for the nudge. All right, folks. Before you go and before we do our thank yous, I want to invite you next week. We're going to be talking with Benjamin Cassidy, who wrote the current Alta serial. It is a complete 180 from today's conversation. This is about kind of the 10 people who perished in a tragic plane crash. And over the course of 6 articles, kind of a series of 6 as part of our Alta serial series. We learn about kind of each of the people, their last days. They boarded this plane, and it's different stories. Each victim on this airplane had kind of a fascinating story of their own. That's the current Alta serial. We'll send you a link to it, and we're going to talk to Benjamin, the writer of that, next week. Brock, Tamara, thank you both so very much for joining us today. I appreciate you rescheduling. I appreciate our big audience rescheduling and all of your great comments in the chat. It has been so fun to speak with you both. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Tamara.
So much fun to see you guys.
Thank you, everyone in the
All right.
comments. I like your comments. Thanks. Nice seeing you, Mary.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.